Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cut Up Solo here tonight, here to talk second half, actually end of first half into the second half of the Michigan versus Purdue film analysis. Yes, we are actually talking football. If you want to hear all things regarding the sign stealing allegations, Tony Petitti, everything up to date, head over to the Den on michigan.rivals.com. That's a premium board. Josh Henschke has some phenomenal updates there every day, pretty much on the hour. He's been posting updates, and dude does not miss on those updates. So honestly, I wouldn't be promoting it this hard if I didn't believe in him. Dude is locked in. Trevor doing great work. Stock reports up. Been doing great work on the site. Site's doing great. Love to see it. Love to see it. Love to be a part of it. And we're here to talk through the end of the first half into the second half. I don't have a ton of time. I'm packing for Penn State, hitting the road tomorrow bright and early to go to State College. So I got a little bit more packing to do tonight, some work to finish up because I'm taking the day off tomorrow. So I'm not going to delay. We're going to get right into the analysis here. Welcome, Mr. Martini. Ready for part two? Welcome, welcome. All right, we're getting going right away. Like I said, not a lot of time. We got a lot of plays. There are a lot of plays. We actually have a fair amount of second half plays to go through. So where we picked off, or where we stopped last night, me and Trevor, I am picking up here 3rd and 8 inside the red zone here. Let's get it cracking. Here we go.
Edwards always dangerous, catching out of the backfield. McCarthy rifles. Oh, nearly home.
So this is, again, how many times did we say it in yesterday's episode? This is some percentage on Colson Loveland, some percentage on J.J. McCarthy, right? This is definitely what I would categorize as a circus catch, right? Because this man coverage, Michigan is doing motion, create some separation here, right? Get your athletes moving before the snap, and that gives them an opportunity to create space. And this makes it look like man. You can see the eyes here for JJ McCarthy. He's looking at 21 following, right? He's following this motion. So this is supposed to be a man beater, right? If this guy's following out here, you expect Roman Wilson to be able to run this off. If this guy is following, right, and he's shading to the inside, you expect this motion and then out route to be here, right? You expect it to be there. So 100%, this is what J.J. McCarthy is looking at over to the left here. That is what he's looking to see, how the defense responds to that motion. So this is actually clever defense, right? Clever defense disguising what coverage they're actually in. Number one is going to be sitting here in the flat, baiting this, right? Baiting this throw. And 21 is getting over the top here. So if you're appropriately reading this for J.J. McCarthy, right, then you could maybe hit a hole shot here as this guy's closing in. There's a little bit of a window here because he's staying, right? He's not following this. So that opens up some field here towards this pylon for Roman Wilson on this sort of clear out. But this motion, right, with the look of man coverage, that means that this is the initial read for J.J. McCarthy. He just misses. He just doesn't read it appropriately, right? So it's actually a good job here for Colston Loveland. I'll back this up a little bit. He recognizes, hey, number one is sitting there. This is zone. So he does a good job sitting in that zone, right? Look at the triangle here, defenders. This is the open area to sit. So that's why Colston Loveland, at the point of cutting to his out route, right, he notices that. You can see his eyes. He's noticing number one is sitting here, identifying that this is the route, right? So it doesn't help to continue on that. When you see zone, you sit in the zone, right, in the middle of this triangle here, and hope your quarterback reads that as well. Unfortunately, J.J. McCarthy doesn't read it, right? He thinks Colston Loveland is continuing out here, right? He doesn't, by the time he's starting his throwing motion right here, right, he doesn't realize that Colston Loveland is going to be sitting and not continuing on the route. So that's why the throw is a little bit to the outside, right? So it's a good job from Colston Loveland. I mean, he almost pulls that in, right? He almost does. So it's an excellent attempt at pulling that ball in, but give Purdue some credit on mixing in some zone when they've been looking at man all day, right? That's how you make a quarterback uncomfortable. That's how you mess with the quarterback's eyes and reads and make them a little bit less confident in their throwing. So, I mean, phenomenal effort, right? This one is, I'd say, 90% on J.J. McCarthy, if not more so. 10% on Colson Loveland for not hauling that in. It's a really difficult catch, extremely difficult with the contact there as well. So this one I tip my cap more to Purdue than anything else. Okay, here we are on a punt, and I wanted to include this because my boy Jake Thaw. Here we go.
Already in this first half, Ansel will punt it away to Tyler Morris. And gets it away simple this time. Takes it. Oh, little Michigan player. Still loose. Who's going to get there first? Purdue is out.
I thought this was the good punt return, not the bad punt return. Okay, let's break this down real quick. You gotta, I don't know what Tyler Morris is doing here, right? Tyler Morris, it's not a great punt. You gotta come up and grab it, right? Right at this point, he's just waiting. He's calling out fire. You gotta fight like heck, right? Fight like heck towards this defender, right? If you notice it's going to be short and you have a guy here and he's not moving, you have to hustle up and get to that. He doesn't, right? He kind of freezes here. And that's what people a lot of the years have been critical of Jake Thaw of not fielding punts, right? If you're not going to field it, you're giving up a lot of potential field position, not just by a lack of return, but not fair catching it, right? The ball could roll an extra 10, 15, however many yards. It's a big deal, right? So I think Tyler Morris just missed an opportunity here, right? I think he paused right about here, right? And he didn't continue to step up towards the ball. So I think he could have been more aggressive here. You have to be loud and projecting that fire, right? It seemed like Quentin Johnson was late in doing so. And I mean, this is also unfortunate, right? The ball landing directly on his back. That's a 1 in 1,000 sort of occurrence. So again, it is a bummer. But there's a reason we saw Jake Thaw come out for, I don't know if it was the remaining punts, but at least most of them moving forward is because you have to field it, right? You open yourself up to the possibility of this happening by not fielding the punts. Good recovery here. I think it was the right call. It did seem like he was inbound, so no issue with that call. Got to field the punts, right? Got to field the punts. That's why we saw more time for Jake Thaw early. But then as he was, maybe letting a couple punts, fall where he maybe shouldn't, Tyler Morris brings a little bit more athleticism to the role. But if Tyler Morris is going to let a punt like that fall to the ground, you're going to see Jake Thaw come in more. I feel like the staff feels that he is more dependable, that he is a safer option there. And he has a later punt return that shows that he's got some wiggle too, right? He's not just a pedestrian guy back there. Okay. After the turnover, we got Penn State on offense here around 34-yard line.
Card feeling it's going to tuck it wrong. He's got wheels. Card's got room inside the red zone.
It's a good play call, right? This is another one where sometimes the offense just calls a better play than the defense has on. Now, I do think Barrett was a little bit aggressive on this. Right. So you're sending a blitz with Junior Colson, this is another thing. If you're sending I know you have to mix it up. You can't always send the same linebacker time and time again. Right. But Michael Barrett is an exceptional blitzing linebacker. Right. So they're sending Junior Colson here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. You got 5 blockers plus the running back in on pass protection. So they outnumber you. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Did I just do? So anyway, Purdue had the numbers, right? And this is a designed QB draw, right? So good pickup from number 3, Tracy in the backfield against blitzing Junior Colson here. And I think Barrett is just a little bit too decisive here, right? A little bit too gung-ho to cut this off. He needs to be playing the role more of a safety at this point, right? He is running up to cut off this. He's got to recognize, hey, there are potential other avenues here. Not just this, but this is also possible, right? So what I mean by being a safety, your job here is to limit, right? You need to stay here. Stay here. You can cut off this, but again, that doesn't do much because you have this other open area. You have to force him to make a decision before you go to one hole. So maybe this is like a design blitz, right? And maybe that's why he is so decisive in attacking the top end here. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I'm all over the place tonight. So maybe that's why, right? But it's also just a good play design. So you have to give credit where credit is due, right? Purdue recognized the pressure was coming. They have an athletic quarterback and they were able to take advantage, right? So got to give them some credit here. And that is a lot of field, right? You pause right here, and it's conceivable to see why you would have Barrett make this path, right? This is just a good play from the quarterback, good eyes from the quarterback to recognize that. The routes are designed to get the cornerbacks out of there. So your best option really is your deep safety flying up, trying to make a play. So give some credit to Purdue, right? It's the right play call. It's the right play call. They executed it well. They went to this a little bit more in the second half and found some success, but this was by far the most successful iteration of that play for the Boilermakers, now on the 15-yard line. All right, let's see what the Wolverines can do. 2nd and 12.
11% touchdowns in the red zone. Guard, end zone, broken up.
This looked like the Rod Moore of old, right? And zero wasted movement. We know Rod Moore, what he can do after last year, right? Really bringing up his game. And this is just zero wasted movement, right? The pass rush is only sending 4. You got running back in as well as all 5 linemen, right? So you do have a late spin move on the top of your screen there. Josiah Stewart able to spin off if there's a little bit more hesitancy. It's a good spin move late here from Josiah Stewart. He is getting a little bit of pressure, but I don't think it really affected the pass all that much. But he was getting close, right? And then I just want to look at the technique here from Rod Moore, number 9 here, just above the hash marks. Watch his technique, right? Good eyes, good eyes, good eyes, recognize, boom, right? So he does a really good job loading up here, right? Keep his feet moving, and then he recognizes this is the move, no waste movement at all, right? And he takes the immediate angle he has to. So it's a really great job of flipping those hips, right? Back pedal, back pedal, back pedal, flip the hips, get out there, right? Takes a perfect angle, and then looks back at the perfect time as well. So I really like how his eyes are focused on number 4 here, right? He only commits once he sees the path of number 4, commits with him, is able to close the gap here, right? He's focused just on closing. He's not looking for the ball at this point. He's just closing on that angle. And then as soon as he's confident that it's there, he sees the wide receiver looking back for the ball, right? Only then does he actually look towards where the ball is coming, makes a play on it, right? So this is just excellent technique from Rod Moore. I love to see when defensive backs have zero wasted movement, right? That makes this very difficult for any team to really make this a successful play when your safety is playing it this well, making the right decision, and has great technique, both with his footwork, his angles, and his eyes. He's able to time this really well, right? And that's where we kind of were a little bit concerned, at least on my end, of what will Rod Moore look like, because he was injured coming into the season. He was a little bit late, right? And I think he only got in late in non-conference play, was still warming up along with Will Johnson. Now he looks fully deployed, right? He looks fully back up to speed. This is the Rod Moore that I remember from last year, right? So it's great that he's finding that again. He's becoming more comfortable, and he's back to where we all know him. So a really good play, sets up 3rd and 12 for Purdue on the 15 once again.
Guard, deep drop, flushed out. Guard on the run, end zone, knocked away.
Should have been another pick, right? Should have been another pick. A lot of credit for Derek Moore at the bottom of your screen. I feel like I haven't called out his name as much. He's still an excellent edge for Michigan overall. He just gets beat, right? I don't know what 64 is really doing here. Gets chipped by the tight end, right? 64, you need to be getting depth here, right? Especially when you see this wide sort of pass rush here from Derek Moore. You got to get depth to match that. He doesn't. That tackle just does not get any depth here. I don't know why he's looking inside of your 64. You see the eyes here for 64. You already got a guard here, right? He'll take him on. Get your butt out here to accommodate Derek Moore to the outside. Just doesn't get enough depth, right? And Derek Moore is there, flushes card out of the pocket, and should have been a pick, right? This is another thing what pressure can do for you. It speeds up the quarterback, makes them uncomfortable, right? So, again, not a sack, but you're forcing the quarterback to disengage with his reads. He's in panic mode at this point, and he's made a really bad decision there, right? Should have been a pick. You cannot blame Rod Moore for getting a hand on the ball, right? He doesn't know exactly what's going on behind him, right? He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. But if you watch Will Johnson here, Will Johnson had this perfectly lined up. If this isn't tipped, right? That's a pick. Like, I'm going to call that a pick if Rod Moore doesn't get a finger on it there, right? So unfortunate, right? Would have been the second pick for Will Johnson on the day. Good play from Rod Moore still, right? Get your hand on the ball, right? Always get your hand on the ball. If you can get your hand on the ball, do it as a defender, right? Always got to do it. So more unfortunate than anything else. And way to be there, right? For two guys. Two guys were there. Just unfortunately didn't come away with a turnover. And you get points, 3 on the board for Purdue. Back on offense here. A couple good plays, all right, on offense. Here we go.
To start the third quarter to firmly take control of this game. Power formation leads to a Corum run.
Well, that's not a good play. What am I talking about? Okay, why did I even include this play? Okay, how many guys are in the box, right? This is another thing where I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. I'm just bringing all the terrible plays apparently, but it wasn't the best game, right? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 8 in the box. This guy I'm not counting because he's following Roman Wilson, right? So 8 in the box. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7 blockers against 8 in the box, right? So what do? How do you win numbers here? Technically, you don't, right? I mean, you're leaving this backside linebacker unaccounted for. You only have 7 blockers, right? You're blocking backside here. You have this double team here, and then reaching out to the play side linebacker. Bredesen is coming across formation to pick up the edge. That's a play design here, right? So what went wrong on this play? A couple guys weren't able to hold their blocks as well. I think primarily Ladarius Henderson loses contact a little bit on this defensive end. Nugent initially blocks well, not able to hold it right about this point. Defensive tackle makes a good shed move to get there and just constrict the hole. So it's not bad blocking, but then also, right, if you have even numbers and these are the only 2 guys making a tackle, you fall forward for 4 yards and you call it a day. But because you're running into a loaded box here, as unblocked, he's able to make full contact and not allow for any yards after contact, right? He's heads up there. He's unaccounted for. So that makes this a 2-yard gain instead of a 4-yard gain traditionally when Michigan would have even numbers, even with a couple lost blocks. This is what I'm kind of saying, where Michigan was resigned to do that because they didn't want to include J.J. McCarthy into the run game. When you are outnumbered in the box, you can take away a defender by engaging that defender with your eyes, right? Threaten the quarterback run, and that gains you an extra body in the box, or I should say removes a body from the defense in the box. Michigan didn't go for that, right? Pretty vanilla in the run game, mainly to establish the play action and to force Purdue to respect it, right? So that's a thing that you just have to consider of, man, the run game didn't look good. Run game didn't look good, right? Why didn't it? If you're blocking 7 against 8 consistently without engaging your quarterback, which we know Michigan has in a very, very positive way to affect the run game, you're kind of playing offense with one hand tied behind your back, right? And Michigan didn't have to put J.J. McCarthy's legs on film. They didn't have to put him at risk. And that was a decision schematically that Michigan made. Whether you like it or not, I feel like that's what happened, right? So it is what it is. I'm not concerned about it, but we got to talk about it, right? All right, here we go. I don't know what happened to the audio there. Audio just muted up on me. All right. Missed pass, right? And this is one of those things where you have to look at the footwork. He was a little bit sped up here, right? So we look here, good pocket. I think he got a little spooked, and this is something you don't really see out of J.J. McCarthy much, right? So Mr. Martini maybe, took some hits recent games, maybe dinged up. Maybe they're just trying to protect him a little bit. It could be any one of those things. I think there's a number of guys, Michigan does have extremely good health in general, but guys are always dealing with something, right? Whether it's a bruise or just a sore here and there, like there's usually something going on with at least a few guys, if not more than a few, right? So that could be it. I don't actually know. But this right here is something that I feel like we have not seen out of JJ McCarthy often. This is a good pocket, right? Everyone's doing their job really well. This is a good pocket. But then you see JJ McCarthy, I feel like his internal clock is moving here, right? So he feels the need to escape, but there's nowhere to escape to, right? Because he doesn't have to escape. So that's the thing. He kind of freaks out a little bit, and then look at his footwork, right? He's just off balance here. He's not really stepping towards his throw. The timing is just a little bit off, right? Timing looks a little bit off, and not able to throw an accurate ball as a result. John A. Schultz, I don't know why you don't get notifications. Sorry about that. I don't know. If you follow my Twitter, that might be the best spot. I know a lot of people don't like Twitter or X, whatever you call it these days. But that's where I will always announce. All right. So I know YouTube can be a little bit weird. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you, but happy you're here now, John. So let's see. Looking at the routes here, again, we got a zone. So this is another thing. We saw, a ton of man-to-man, So this could also be a thing where JJ McCarthy was expecting man and saw zone all of a sudden, right? And that threw him off. So, I mean, this was the right decision, right? This sort of deeper in route here for Cornelius Johnson. He is open, right? He makes a good decision. I think it's just a little bit behind him, right? This path that he's on, it feels like JJ McCarthy was expecting, again, I kind of like to look at like a triangle here, right? A triangle of the zone, try to find the middle of this. And maybe he thought that Cornelius Johnson would be sitting more, instead he kept on his path here, right? So this could be another miscommunication thing, or it could be a footwork. It could be a combination, right? I do think Cornelius Johnson needs to recognize that sort of spot in the zone, right? This is a more reasonable area. When you continue on this path, you are making the job easier for number 10, right? And then you're also allowing this linebacker to maybe fall back into that. At least that would be in the path of a potential pass if he continues across. So he definitely should have sat, right? I think that's one thing of, I feel like Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson generally do a better job of sitting in those zones. And did I say Cornelius Johnson? I meant Colson Loveland. But Johnson here just needs to sit a little bit more. I think he continued on his path in a way that JJ McCarthy did not expect. So I could be wrong, right? Could be speculation there on if that is the case, but again, just a little bit off. And if we go back to look at JJ McCarthy's mechanics a little bit, again, that looks like where he's looking the whole time. Or if you look at his eyes, it looks like he's trying to evaluate over here. What's the reaction of that safety, right? He sees him backing up. Now he's shifting over towards the seam. Looks like he's looking for Roman Wilson here, checking number 10, checking here as well. Again, that doesn't like what he sees. Now he's moving back over here. His eyes look to be through this defender over here. Doesn't like what he sees. Maybe he's thinking about throwing it, but doesn't feel comfortable with this guy yet, right, of throwing it here. So then he gets a little squirrely, his internal clock, and then he notices Cornelius Johnson, and I think his footwork is just off, right? Timing is just a little bit off, and maybe didn't expect Cornelius Johnson to be continuing. So just a couple of little things, right? A couple of little things not comfortable from JJ McCarthy, not sitting when he probably should have for Cornelius Johnson, and all those things, right? Just a couple little things can make a play unsuccessful. We're moving in 4th and 1. Ooh, I got a lot to say about this one.
On 4th and 1. Michigan 7 of 10 on 4th down of the season. Now they're going to be 7 of 11.
I don't know what Michigan is doing. All right. I don't know what Michigan is doing. Let's go to this angle. This angle is the best. Why are you putting a wide receiver in this position? Okay. You have Darius Clemens here. You have number 4, one of their best players, defensive ends, right? Why are you putting a wide receiver here to do this job, right? To cut across the body here. I just don't understand it. Maybe I'll understand it later on, but you're not setting up, how often I said in the last episode how well Michigan set up their offense to be successful. You're not setting up Darius Clemens to be successful here, right? And that's why this play is doomed, is because of that. Now, another aspect of this is it seems odd to me that you would have Carson Barnhart allow this guy inside. It just seems like it doesn't seem like this passes the sniff test for it seems like it would be too easy of a job for Carson Barnhart to be getting his face across here, right? And if we move forward here, focusing on the left side there, it seems like he's more than willing to let that go towards the inside. And in conjunction with that, you have a clear job here from Bredesen. Push the butt here and then get to the number 21 defensive back here, right? So the combination of this movement from Bredesen, little in and out, and then allowing this defender inside here for Barnhart, where I feel like he could have, right? He could have got his head across here more easily than he did. This is wide open, right? This for Khalil Mullings, right off the butt of Barnhart there. You can go there, right? That's a first down right there. If you take this path, sure, you might have this linebacker creeping over, but you'll get a yard, right? So that's just curious to me. Darius Clemens, I don't know where he's looking, right? I don't know what you're doing. So there's no excuse here, but you're also not putting your young wide receiver in a spot to be successful. So anyway, this probably would have been a first down. I do, if this isn't where it's supposed to go, right, and this isn't on the table, this is truly just a plow yourself here, then you got to plow if you're Mullings, right? He takes a little step right here to evaluate before deciding to cut right here. So I don't know if he's trying to evaluate, do I cut left, do I cut right, or whatever. But if you're supposed to just throw yourself into the wall, right, throw yourself into the wall. Just do it. You got to do it, right? There's no pitter patter right here needed. You take that ball and you barrel. You create that yard, right? Even if it's not there. Him opening up here, right? See how he kind of opens up his hips here, that little stutter, that takes away his momentum. So any sort of possibility of carving out a yard through his own offensive line, that's gone right there. That's gone. So I can't tell you. I can't tell you if the play was designed to go out here as a possibility, right? This leads me to believe it's a possibility by letting him inside. I can't believe that Barnhart would just let this guy inside, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. So as Marcus says, Corum can teach a masterclass on hitting the wall. You just fly into it. That's it. That's the best way I can put into it, whether you dive over the goal line like we saw on the show yesterday or just barrel into it, right? Create your yards. And Mullings needs to do just a little bit better job there. But again, I don't know whether this was designed to bounce left outside of Barnhart here off his butt, or this is a true throw yourself into the line and create that yard. Don't know. Okay, moving into Purdue after the turnover on downs.
First set of downs. Stick with the hot hand. Tracy, can he get away? He's going backward, and there was the wrong decision. Back to the...
Josh Wallace had one of his best days in a Michigan Wolverine uniform. This is great play from Derek Moore as well. I think Derek Moore actually probably could have done a little bit better job. When you're pulling two guys across formation like this, right, you're leaving the end unblocked here for your puller, and then you're bringing another puller. This guy's job is chaos, right? Get into the backfield a little bit and just blow this up. Make this sort of counter look really difficult for the running back right about here. So I do think Derek Moore gets a little bit upfield. He doesn't need to do – like he's good right here, right? He is perfectly good right here. This breaks up exactly what Purdue wants to do. Keep your outside arm free. Just blow this up. Make this blocker run through you or go around. Make it very difficult, right? So Derek Moore is good right here. He takes a little bit step upfield. See that right there? Don't need to do that. Right? You lose a little bit, again, of his momentum. Attack that blocker. Attack that blocker right here. Attack through him and force this guy to go around to the outside, force the running back a wider route, right? And you got your safety, you got your corner to fly to the ball. Just make things difficult. And I don't think Derek Moore, I think he did a good job, right, of maybe slowing this down a little bit, but he could have done a little bit better than what he did there. And then let's see, it seems like Kenneth Grant has an inside move here. He works through this block, creates a little bit of chaos to the interior, just completely olays his way into the backfield there. That forces a little bit of hesitation from the running back. And then it's just good reaction from your safety. Safety recognizes what's going on here. He flies up before number 0 can get this crack block. It's good recognition from Josh Wallace as well, getting to the outside, recognizing this is a block, get my eyes in the backfield, recognize what's going on, and I'm now essentially a safety and run support, right? So it's a good job. Good job keeping to the outside and right, force them back inside if you're Josh Wallace. That's where your defensive help is. I see a fair amount of questions in the chat. I know Klingscale said that I think he said like it's football, like he'll be fine. So should be, I think he'll be all right. I don't think it's anything major, right? It might just be a little like one of those bone bruises, right? Kind of what we were talking about earlier. So I don't know, but I will say this: Purdue, Penn State, in terms of their wideouts, right? And I'm going to knock on wood. That's not the strength of their team, really. They don't have a whole lot of bodies at wide receiver that you really need your A game. It's going to be pretty good, right? Penn State is a good team, but it's not like they have a host of wide receivers where you obviously you want Josh Wallace. I'm not saying that, but they're not known for having a slew of wide receivers in the same way that Ohio State is. Anyway, good play from Josh Wallace. Good job from Makari Page forcing this to the outside as well. Good job from the rest of the team for flocking to the ball here. You got Sainer still coming there. You got Ernest Hausman assisting as well. Just good team defense. Okay. We're at 3rd and 8 now. Here we go.
Here he is on 3rd down and 8. Comes out just quickly enough and incomplete. Got hit as he threw it.
Feels like a broken record, right? Broken record from the first episode. This is not technically a sack. This is effectively a sack, right? Very lucky for Hudson Card to not get this off. The coverage is pretty good, right? Coverage is pretty good. You could conceivably see an area where this pass might have been able to be completed if it's an accurate throw. I would challenge that because you do have Makari Page there as well to help out. It's number 8 there. But, I mean, Braden McGregor just absolutely demolishes this left tackle. Just really good move. Disengaging the hands, again, doing his best Aiden Hutchinson impression there around the edge, right? So really good job from him. See a better look here. Just really good job disengaging those arms, right? Look at that move of just disengaging those arms. Throw that away, right? And then that bend, right when he gets around that edge here, after he disengages, right? Able to put that foot in the ground. Really tough to do. So really good job. Surprised that this didn't affect the ball more, right? It looks like he actually probably gets a hand on it a little bit right there. Maybe gets a finger on it, right? Fingernail. But again, what have I said all of the last episode? The more you can affect the passer, right? Even if it's not a sack, you're affecting the ball. And that creates so many more potential opportunities for turnovers. It did in this game. It has in previous games. And nice to see this from Braden McGregor time and time again. All right, last play of the first half that we'll be covering here. Oh, it's the Hail Mary.
And 3 all the way to the goal line. McCarthy gets away. McCarthy extends the play. McCarthy tripped up.
Just a bummer. I'm always a big fan of, like, if you're doing a sort of like Hail Mary type, right, on this play, you have to adapt for something where Purdue is just sending pressure, right? Pressure. They're even sending pressure here, right? You need to be able to, if you're JJ McCarthy, recognize that and say, hey, we got 3 bodies here, right? So how many players are actually here? for Purdue? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so they have 2 guys probably deep, right? But I feel like you got to dump the ball off here, right? I understand there's 2 seconds left, but something can maybe happen, right? You can pitch the ball back a little bit. You can do something. I get it. You're trying to get the ball to the end zone, right? But right here, you got a shot, right? You got a shot if you throw the ball immediately to Colson Loveland. It seems like I feel like Colson Loveland maybe looks back for it. I'm not exactly sure if he does. Let's see. Now, yeah, he's kind of looking back now. So maybe just throw it towards Colson Loveland here, right? Just kind of loft it up a little bit and possibly have that. But yeah, just unfortunate, right? You're sending a bunch of pressure. Michigan wasn't really expecting it, and J.J. McCarthy not able to get away for number 5 here. It's a good play, right? It's a good play. So don't want to harp on it too much. It's a gutsy little blitz on a Hail Mary attempt, and it paid off for him. Okay, let's move into the second half, shall we? Second half time. And this is another instance, right? Why do I keep showing these plays? Look at what Michigan is running into, right? How many guys in the box here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You're just outnumbered. You're outnumbered. And when you don't have numbers, it's really hard to run in the box. It's just really difficult. This isn't blocked poorly from Michigan. They just don't have the numbers here, right? They're leaving. Well, hold on. They're leaving the backside edge. They're effectively committing 4 to 4 on the backside here. What I mean by committing. So they're leaving 1, 2, 3, and 4, right, to deal with anything that's coming on the backside from these 4, right? So you're bringing 2 pullers here. 2 pullers, boom, take out the edge guy. You're the lead Barnhart through the hole, right? You pick up this play side linebacker, and you're just hoping this guy gets caught up through the wash, right? That's what the hope is, that this guy is eliminated just by the traffic elsewhere. Because you don't have the bodies, right, to actually have one of these guys releasing to the second level. You don't have a double team where one of them can get off to the second level. This guy is unaccounted for. So you look at the blocks here, play side, it's pretty well done, right? Number 5 is throwing himself into the line of scrimmage here. He's going a little bit too far horizontal. Good adapting here, right? Okay, you want to go that way? I'll block you this way. You continue to the outside, right? Good adaptation. Picks up the linebacker, right? You look at just the blocks that are there. They all do their job, right? Everyone did their job here. There's a hole. There just happens to be an unblocked linebacker who successfully scraped his way over to the play. That's the difference, right? This is an evenly blocked play, even numbers in the box for Michigan and Purdue. This is a big play, but it isn't. It isn't, right? So that guy makes a good play, and that's why it's only a 2-yard gain again, right? So it's difficult to expect Corum to make this guy miss, in my mind, right? Keegan actually gets beat pretty badly on this play. Doesn't get a good block on 91. So, maybe you want Blake Corum to be able to put a move on this linebacker. I feel like you didn't really see him until a little late, right? So he's not able to put a move on him as effectively as maybe he would like to. That's a good hit. That's a good hit. So anyway, Ohio State talking major sanctions. What about what? The sign stealing, or is this something else? Because they can talk whatever they want. It's not going to happen. All right. They're going to cry. They're going to whine because Michigan is good and they want him punished. Yeah, I get it. All right, moving on. 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2.
McCarthy looking that way. Now surveys through his options. Escapes the rush. Fires and comes.
So this is an interesting play. It feels like it's built off of the previous play that we saw for Evan Morris, right? And what I mean by previous play, where you have the yo-yo motion, right? Yo-yo motion, go back to the outside here on this little wheel, right? And then you send your 2 guys on the interior here to punish this defender getting out to the flat here, right? That's what it feels like this play is, except it feels like there's a little bit of a wrinkle here, right? It feels like there's a little bit of a wrinkle. And this is where you see the adaptation here for Purdue. You see them calling this out. Hey, this guy is going out here. It's going to be a switch, right? Because they're sending here. They're sending here. We saw this successful for Tyler Morris, right? So now they're successfully switching here. They're saying, hey, to the outside, you pick up this to the flat. I'll pick up this slant, right? And that's all well and good. The additional layer here, right, is that you're bringing Barner across the formation here on a shallow cross. So this is almost secondary, right? It's almost secondary here. It's not the win that Purdue is expecting it to be, right? You can go that way. You can take yourself out here. Boom, boom, right? Okay, take you out, and man, good luck guarding Barner across through all this traffic, right? That's a secondary thing here. So it's good recognition of JJ McCarthy, right? He's threatening a throw to Roman Wilson here. They adapt, but then look at the traffic here coming up for AJ Barner. Looks like this would be relatively open, right? 31 is trying to fight through the traffic, but again, here are the slants that is making life difficult for 31 to get over the top on that. So that's where JJ McCarthy was shifting towards, right? Boom, that's not there. Here's your secondary crossing route. But then he has pressure, right? So he has to duck out. Two guys being sent, and Blake Corum doesn't appropriately pick that up, right? So I don't know if this is just a failed protection call. Maybe they didn't see this blitz coming. It seems like Blake Corum should have maybe paused an extra second and recognized this, right? Recognize, hey, there needs to be some help. But also, he's a small guy, right? So he can't really see maybe through Ladarius Henderson here. So I feel like it's more just a misassignment, missed recognition here for Blake Corum to help out on the left side here. Recognize it late, right? Boom, now you're dead, right? Maybe called out here for JJ McCarthy, right? Maybe called out like backside, or I don't know what the term is they use. JJ McCarthy wisely, right, recognizes that. So I feel like there was something yelled here, because why would you come off of this if you're JJ McCarthy traditionally, right? This is going to be there. As soon as AJ Barner clears this linebacker, right, you're going to have AJ Barner there. But you recognize it, whether the spidey senses are going off or Corum calls out or Ladarius Henderson calls out the blitz or something. It's good recognition, right? And a really good job ducking out of that blitz. And then he just recognizes Loveland, right? So it's a good job making it work, right? So the original play design was there. When things break down, what do? Right? So good recognition here of JJ McCarthy, that spidey sense, whatever was called out, right? And then you make it work, right? And I really love the little subtle movement here for Colson Loveland to create some space. Right here, he's guarded pretty closely, right? He recognizes this is the rollout for JJ McCarthy. Watch Colson Loveland create some space by just threatening vertical. He's just going to threaten vertical a little bit with his shoulders, and then he's going to continue on his path. It's really sharp move for that improv, right? He's going to threaten it. I'm going vertical, right? Boom. No, I'm not. And look at what that does to create the separation, right? Just a little bit of space. That's all he needs, right? So that's really smart little fake there to create separation. And that's just by feel, right? He can feel that defender is right there, right? So if you want to follow, you got to punish you being right there on my butt, right? You got to follow me. If I'm going to threaten vertical, right, you better follow me. 21 starts to do that, but Loveland able to disengage there. You can see that little subtle separation with that left arm too. Create that disconnect, right? Throw that arm off of me. That left arm right there. Boom. Get that arm off of me. Boom. There it is. It's great. Great play. Really clever. And when things break down, right, it's not easy. You're running against your throwing arm. You got to really move your hips, shift your hips here. Really good job of moving your shoulders, right? And then throwing the ball. It's not the best footwork, right? Not the best footwork for JJ McCarthy, but he gets his shoulders turned, and that's what's important, right? Turn your shoulders, try to step into as much as possible. It's a great ball, right? A little bit behind him, but that's great timing. So that's what makes JJ McCarthy special, right? He's able to pull off those plays, and you have wide receivers this year, especially to work alongside with him. And I feel like that had to be something that Michigan repped quite a bit more. What happens when things go wrong? How do you use your spacing amongst the wide receivers? How do you create your own space? Right? All of those things are always important, but exceptionally important when a play breaks down. All right, 3rd and 8 here, another 3rd and long for the Wolverines.
Three-man rush, drop an 8. McCarthy taking his time, now the time runs out. McCarthy escapes, fires on the run, knocked away.
All right, and then I gave him a bunch of a bunch of credit, and I just disagree with where he went with the ball on this one. Okay, so Ken, did he need to duck out this early? Yeah, he did. So need to do a little bit better job on the top of your screen here. Barnhart needs to make himself more useful. Barnhart really didn't block much. I feel like he had a tough game. All right, I'll be honest. Find some work, right? Nothing is coming here. You recognize everyone dropping. What you should recognize that you had a defensive end one-on-one on your tight end. Get some depth, right? Get some depth. You're not doing any good by staying here. Just get some depth. Diamond Edwards also could have done a better job staying engaged here, right? Not able to effectively hold that block. And on the backside, Ladarius Henderson, not able to get great depth, not able to get a great block on 96 around the edge either. I think he does fine. I think he does okay, but not great. So, okay, play breaks down. You never really want to be throwing across your body like that, right? That's terrifying. You don't want to do that. What options did JJ McCarthy have otherwise, right? Where he's reading right now doesn't look like a whole lot of great options, right? This seems like a rat's nest. Maybe you could argue throwing the ball here. I would argue this safety, maybe even this safety. This is a very tight window. It might have been open, but I think that's a risky throw. So anyway, I agree with him ducking out here. It didn't seem like anything was open. I think you got to throw this way, right? You have good depth here for Roman Wilson. Trust his speed. Just lay it out there, right? Recognize the body language that you have. It's going to be really hard for this defender to turn his body around while he's trying to catch up to Roman Wilson. So at the very least, just throw it long, right? And that's a much safer option than what JJ McCarthy was looking for, right? I don't even know what he was really looking at here. This doesn't seem like a great option in general, right? So anyway, up the sideline, Roman Wilson seems like a much better option to me. And I don't know why he didn't look that way, right? It seems like he was kind of locked into the middle of the field starting here. It didn't seem like he came off of that of Roman Wilson there. So maybe if he had just looked a little bit more towards Roman Wilson, could have been a better option. All right, moving in, 3rd and 3 here for the Boilermakers.
Card, feeling the pressure, happy feet, just has to get rid of it. Darts near it.
An actual excellent throw, all things considered, for Hudson Card, right? Good pressure, again, for Michigan. Clever little blitz. You're only sending 4, but man, you're sending a 5th late in Junior Colson, but man, is it chaos, right? It's just pure chaos. This is kind of what you could call a coverage sack. There's nothing open, right? You look at the time for Hudson Card and where he's looking. Everything is covered extremely well here. Where do you throw the ball, right? Where are you throwing this? So it's partially a coverage sack, right? The pocket isn't terrible for Hudson Card. Eventually, Jalen Harrell is going to get some pressure around the edge. You have Michael Barrett, relentless blitzing up the middle. You have Junior Colson, not Junior Colson, what am I saying? You just have a bunch of chaos. Junior Colson is coming late. So just a bunch of chaos against Mike Barrett there. And you're just forcing a back foot throw, dangerous throw, right? Yeah, good call out from John here. You see Mason Graham he recognized the eyes, just getting some air, trying to get a pass block there. So anyway, nice attempt on the throw, just good coverage, right? Good coverage. And just terrifying if you're Hudson Card, right? What do you do? Well, excuse me, guys. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm tired. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of options there. Almost completes the pass. Again, pressure didn't create many sacks, only one sack on the night, but it affected so many plays. So many plays. Um, okay, moving into some offense for Michigan.
When you're going to a playground to play basketball, you got to assemble your team. You got to keep winning to stay on the court.
All right, we're back to another drop, right? And this is a rare one. I feel like we don't see a drop for Roman Wilson all that often, right? And this is a pure man beater. And this is an interesting one because we seldom actually see a press man release for Roman Wilson, right? How often have we actually seen Roman Wilson in a press man situation go out on a crosshair? I feel like they're always doing a sort of motion and then releasing him, right, to get him off of that. So this was an interesting play for me to look at because he puts on a good move here, right? He's able to put on a little shimmy, create separation just with his speed. It's not the worst throw. It's not a good throw, but this is another one of those where it's not all on the quarterback, right? There is some make a play aspect of the wide receiver here. It's a tough catch, right? I'm not going to say that's a super easy catch, but I still think this is probably like 60% of the time your wide receiver should be catching that. At least go to the ground and secure that catch, right? I expect a collegiate wide receiver to be catching the ball at their thighs or knees or wherever that hits, right? So again, not the best throw, and I'm not excusing the lack of accuracy on this pass. It didn't have to be there, right? So, could have been better, but Roman Wilson also could have been done a better job there. I also want to give a shout out for Samaj Morgan, right? Samaj Morgan, a guy who is going to continue to be a dude, does a nice little shimmy here. He's open as well. He does a good job. So, the you had a couple options there. I don't blame him going to Roman Wilson. He had separation. That's your guy, right? So, yeah, a couple good comments here. You have to catch that. Yeah, the broadcast was just so critical of JJ McCarthy, like expecting absolute perfection. Was it the best throw? No. It's not an easy catch, but it's manageable. All right. It's not a dead on. That's a manageable catch, right? His knee got in the way of his hands, forgivable. And listen, Roman Wilson doesn't have this issue, right? So once in a while drop, it's all right. That's all right. And Mark says JJ was a little off from what he has been doing on about 6 to 8 throws. That was a good example. Yeah, exactly. It just wasn't perfection, right? And I feel like we've been a little bit spoiled of like the wide receivers not having to do a lot of work in the receptions, right? Whereas he was making the wide receiver's life a little bit more difficult, right? And the ball not on the right shoulder, the ball a little low, ball a little behind. And not all of them were super catchable, but there were a few, probably I would say 3 or 4 maybe, that were in the realm of catchable balls that I would expect these wide receivers to be able to make. But not all of them, right? And there's still opportunity, of course, as I say that, for JJ McCarthy to have a better ball. All right, 3rd and 7.
Particularly on 3rd down. Another opportunity to get off the field, but McCarthy, a laser, goes behind Cornelius.
Here we go. Another one, right? All right, let's look. Let's look here at his mechanics. I didn't think the mechanics were that bad on this one. This one is a tough catch. So I'll put this one more on JJ McCarthy, right? Look at his mechanics here. He's looking to the right, doesn't like what he sees there. Looking across the middle. I like the decision. He is stepping a little bit. You notice how he's not stepping into the throw here. Now I can recognize that Keegan's getting a little bit beat here, right? Keegan is giving a little bit of ground here. That's forcing JJ McCarthy to move left in the pocket. And then as a result of that, he's not able to step into the throw, step towards the throw here, right? Then you also consider there's a successful stunt going on here. Just seems like a little bit of a chaotic attempt at getting this. This is a really long developing stunt here where you're going inside, and you have Nugent trying to follow all the way, which is usually just not going to work, right? So he's got that coming as well, right? So I feel like JJ McCarthy recognizes that. So he's just uncomfortable, right? Like understandably so. But I think he does have a little bit of room here to step back a little bit. You see that little skip he does backwards here? I feel like there is a little bit of room to still step into this throw. And when you're stepping to the left here, instead of stepping towards the throw a little bit more, right? His hips are all the way open. Ball just sails a little bit behind him, right? You look kind of where is that shoulder pointed, and that's where you're going to throw the ball, right? And that's why the ball is probably a little bit behind where it should be. And he recognizes it, right? He's bummed about it. JJ McCarthy is. So again, could this have been caught? Maybe, right? This one's pretty tough. That's a tough catch. All right. So I'll put this like probably 80% on JJ McCarthy, 20% on Cornelius Johnson. There's a conceivable way to make that catch, but that would be an exceptional catch. Can't expect that. Yeah, definitely. Keegan, I don't think I have to double check Trevor's stock report, but I don't think it was graded out well. Yeah. So again, for all of these, right? Everyone can say like JJ was a little bit off, and he was, right? He was, but not all of these passes were 80% on the quarterback, 20% on the wide receiver. Sometimes it's flipped the other way, and that's all it takes, right? Is just a little bit off on one end or the other, and the play will result in a incompletion. So it's not always going to be perfect, but yeah, there were a lot more of those in this game where we haven't seen that from JJ McCarthy pretty much all year.
Settled into this game. They got their cleats in the ground, and they've done a great job against the run, first and foremost.
Tracy is going to push it and come up a yard.
All right, I got to speed up here, guys. I don't know how long I'm going to make it. Probably 30 more minutes. I don't know if I'll get through this game, but I'm going to go into turbo mode a little bit. So I want to call this play out because I think Michigan did a really clever thing here. They repositioned on their gaps here, right? So you see where they're at initially here. They're going to move one gap over here, and then they're going to bring guys off the edge to make up for the gaps that they shifted over here. So this is just messing with the assignments, right? Boom, there's your shift over. You're switching gaps, and now you're messing with the assignment a little bit of the offense, right? So now you have two pullers, right, leading the way through here, but that leaves Jaden McBurrows to cover this, right? You become the new edge defender in Jaden McBurrows. And then it's just a really good job here for Mike Barrett beating that block, right? He beats that. You got Jaden McBurrows who's pushing this running back into the teeth here of your defense, including Mike Barrett. It's a great hit, right? Mike Barrett, true linebacker skills now, right? And that's a big play. On 2nd and 3, you cut that down. Now it's 3rd and 1.5. So give him a lot of credit. All right, 3rd and 3. Told you I'm going fast. Here we go. Going fast.
Defense, Johnson, the motion man, 3rd and 3. McCarthy, up dart, Roman Wilson, his go-to guy.
Here you go, Roman Wilson, right? And we're seeing just more man beaters, right? You have a guy following Cornelius Johnson across formation. That's a man-to-man tip-off, right? How do you beat man-to-man? You create traffic for the defenders. Nothing fancy here, right? It's a slant here, a little sluggo route, I think is what they call it, where you go initially on a slant and then you go back on a out route, right? So what does that do? Boom, look at what that does. These little slant routes or little crossing routes, that just creates traffic for this guy. And man-to-man, you go underneath that. It's almost like a little, kind of like a bubble screen in certain ways. And you don't even need to make contact with that defensive back, right? No one really makes contact with that defensive back. You're just making it difficult, right? Just force that defensive back, number one here, force him to be worried about running into this. Force him to bubble out a little bit. Because when you have a guy, again, with 4.2, 4.3 speed and Roman Wilson, that's all the separation you need, right? So, again, make it easy on your offense. I like this play call because with some of the inaccuracies here for JJ McCarthy, right, try to get him more comfortable, right? And scheming your guys open here makes it a quick read, makes it an easy read, and it restores confidence in your quarterback to make a nice, easy throw. And boom, now you got a nice, new, fresh set of downs to work with. So I really like that play call. Again, using man-to-man against the defense.
Touchdowns on the season to lead the team. And it Morgan on the end around. He's got speed down the sideline. Samaj Morgan, touchdown.
Gonna see more of this guy. All right, here you go, John. John said, I want to see the Samaj Morgan play. There it is, right? And this is what, I mean, look at all the bodies. Like, let's shift over to the behind the center view real quick. Look at all the bodies that are still sold on Blake Corum being the guy, right? Look at all, like everyone here outside of these players, right? Boom and boom. These are the only two guys clued in. Look at the rest of the defenders. He's, looking at the end around, but he's too late. Everyone else, look how long they're reacting to Blake Corum, right? This is what continuing to run the ball inside. You lull them to sleep, right? You lull them to sleep. And then it's really funny watching number 4. He recognizes it. He's like, oh, shit, right? Oh, no, there he goes. So that is just what you can do by continuing to run inside. All you need is to threaten this once, right? Put this on film once, like Michigan just did. Get you a touchdown. It'll also force the defense to recognize the horizontal threat, not just the threat between the tackles or the Corum threat. You have to respect the Samaj Morgan jet sweep motion as well, right? So the other big mistake here, the All-22 does a good job here. Number 1 has to do a better job recognizing this, right? Number 1 follows Cornelius Johnson here the whole way, right? Number 1 follows this and never comes off of that, right? So you have this jet sweep. This guy's never the wiser. If you're a smarter defense, he calls it out, right? He calls it out, and you do a crack replace, right? And this guy becomes the edge defender. He never does, right? He never does. I don't know why. I don't know why he doesn't. But anyway, doesn't do a good job, right? And then Samaj Morgan just has too much speed, right? They have this guy playing out on Mars. What the hell happened? Are you guys still with me? Hello? Are you guys still here? Can you hear me? What is going on? my other monitor, you can see it here. I don't know what just happened. My screen went black. The entire room went out. I don't know if that was a power outage. That is really odd. Let me see. Okay. This is all good. Technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on here. Wow. Okay. Well, are we calling it this early? Yeah, I see it as well. Hold on. Let me try to remove it. Hold on. I'm going to reopen this application. All right. I'm going to reopen it. We'll see what happens here. That was really weird. I feel like that might have been a slight power outage or something. I'm not exactly sure. All right. Give it a minute. We might be calling it short. Okay. In the meantime, my Purdue prediction here. I'm going to call 2 things that I'm expecting to happen. All right. Bold prediction time. Bold prediction time. I think there's going to be an orgy package. Okay. I think there's going to be an orgy package that is released. That's my number 1 prediction. Number 2, I think we're going to see a Donovan Edwards returning punts situation. Okay. I think they're going to try to find ways to get him more involved. And I think that is going to be a potential path forward for Donovan Edwards. I have nothing to back up this claim. This is not me projecting anything that I know. I'm not a guy in the know to know these things, but I am predicting a couple things there. So I don't actually know, but I'm calling it. Okay. So you guys were here first. If you see it, then you're going to be like, whoa, Toski actually knows his stuff. But I think there's going to be something, man. My prediction is a 31-13 victory for Michigan. I think it's going to be like a 17-10 at halftime or something, and then they score a couple to put it away. So, what's the weather forecast? That's a great question because I'm still packing and I don't know. Let me check that while I'm getting my screen set up again here real quick. I'm gonna go till 10:30, guys. I don't know how far that'll take me, but that's how long I'm going because I got stuff to do tonight and I am a tired boy. Let me look up State College, Pennsylvania. What is the weather? The last time I looked, I thought it was like rainy today, but then it was going to be like mostly sunny. That's what I saw, but I could be wrong. Saturday says 50 degrees, partially sunny. So not bad. Pretty good day of football. Let me see. No chance. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. No chance other than Thaw catching punts, at least the first 5. We'll see, man. If I see Donovan Edwards run out there, I'm going to be losing it. So, yeah, it's going to be good weather. Okay, let me see if this application will be fighting me again. Okay, hold on. I think we're back in business, guys. It did lose all of my renders, so I will have to render each play. So we'll see how many plays I can get through in the next half hour. Okay. So where were we? Oh, I got to still share my screen. Okay. We're back here. Oh, boy. Add to stage. There we go. Okay. I didn't see much wind on the forecast there, Marcus. Let me double check. Actually, let me pull this across. This is Saturday. Winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, 50, partially sunny. That looks nice. Looks like a nice day. Okay. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I don't know what that was. That was weird stuff. Weird stuff Oh, actually, I think it's the marker. It's my marker application. That's what got thrown off. Oh. That just like blew up on me. Okay, we're going to have to Control-Alt-Delete. Control-Alt-Delete, Task Manager. We got to restart this darn thing. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You guys get to see how the sausage is made here. I got a text message. Okay. All right. I apologize, guys. Apologize. Okay, we're back. We're back. Colors going. Okay. Here we go. Another play. Spotify killing your RAM too. That's a good call. I should kill Spotify.
See what this defense does on 3rd and 5. Here comes the blitz. Card. Incomplete.
Another, what do we say? How many times can I say this? I don't know why I clipped a million plays, but another pass rush creating a bad throw and almost an interception scenario. Now, honestly, if this wasn't a good pass rush and this is where Hudson Card is just trying to throw the ball, Michigan baited him into it, right? This is a out route combination with a go route down the sideline, and Michigan baited him, right? You got a defensive back here waiting for this out route. So if Hudson Card didn't recognize that, this could be a big interception, right? You got the guy there for it. So this is just a great blitz from Michael Barrett. Again, how many times have I said that throughout the year, right? Just blows up the running back. Boom. He's right there. Right. Really good job from Mike Barrett. Excellent player. All right. Moving into the next play here. Don't blow up on me, computer. There we go. Okay. Here we got Jake Thaw.
Line drive, and Thaw will field it at the 23 and look to go. Thaw finds a seam to the outside, shimmy shake. Thaw gets a block into Purdue.
Got to do better blocking for this guy, right? Jake Thaw, quite a play. Quite a play. Really good cut right here. Good job from Quentin Johnson, right? This is how you go find work. Go find work, right? Boom. Take him on, right? So he does a really good job picking up that block. Find work if you are, I believe that's DJ Waller. I'm not 100% sure. You got to go, right? You got to go upfield. Don't turn back and watch. Go find work. Find work, right? Don't be watching. Don't be watching. Put in a new guy. Not likely. Hey, man, you heard it here first. All right. I'm just going to tell you. That's a bold prediction. But anyway, if you are number 4 here, right? How different does this play look if you just get in the way of this punter, right? Just get in his way. Don't look back. Looking back isn't going to do anything. So he's going to get roasted in film room for this. Get up and block this punter, right? Because then Thaw makes this play. Boom, you're down the sideline, right? You're down the sideline. You're gone. You're gone. So anyway, got to do a better job if you're number 4. Make that play and Thaw might get there. Okay, because the application took a crap on me, I got to render this next play. Wrestling takedown there at the end. Oh, man. Wrestling was the hardest thing in the world. Any wrestlers in the chat? I don't think I've ever asked that one before. I'll be nervous if Edwards returned punts. He hasn't done it in a game at all this year, but he has been back there practicing receiving punts in the game warm-ups and things like that. He is back there. Okay, at least he was at the Minnesota game when I was at that stadium this year. So it might not happen, right? Might not happen. I feel like Michigan's going to like unveil Orgy and like do some cool things with Donovan Edwards in this game. I could be wrong. Oh, sorry, guys. Whoa. 119. Oh, 119. All right, fun fact for me. I was 103 pounds my freshman year of high school. Now I sit around 200 pounds. I'm relatively active. I'm a runner, but yeah, 103 freshman year of high school, and then I ended up eventually at 152. So I was a little guy, just a little guy. All right, here we go. First 10. Come on. There we go.
We'll see J.J. McCarthy's hoping to add his name to that list as well as he stands in the pocket, feels the rush, and delivers to Roman Wilson.
Now, this is good footwork, right? This is good footwork, right? This is a long developing play, right? And it's just good job moving his way in the pocket, right? Moving, able to just shift his way to open space. He doesn't like what he sees. Now he finds an open area. Boom, right? That's what it needs to look like. So before, a lot of the poor footwork and whatnot that we were seeing out of J.J. McCarthy, some discomfort. Recognize when you have a little bit of a pocket, right? Got to be careful getting called for holding, right? This could have been called for holding, 100%. Could have been called, right? I'm of the mindset that you can probably get called for holding on more plays often than not. That should have been called holding on Donovan Edwards. Anyway, it's a good find, right? You can see the eyes here of J.J. McCarthy. He's looking back at that safety on the left side here. Doesn't like what he sees for Colson Loveland. Then he shifts over, right? And he sees just a big open space for where Roman Wilson is ending up. So, yeah, definitely a hold. Wasn't called. Hey, don't apologize for the refs making a mistake, right? They made a mistake earlier calling a hold on Blake Corum when he got jumped over, so we'll take it. All right, time to render the next one. Ooh, Marcus with a fun theory. Sainristil comes in on offense for some plays. That would be cool. That would be really fun. Wrestling, says Mr. Martini. Yeah, what a weird sport. Well, the oldest sport, right? The original sport.
Let's see what this.
Nope, we already watched that play. Okay, we're on this play now. Okay, I don't really actually want to break this one down all that much. Donovan Edwards, good initial read here. I just feel like he's not able to keep his balance, right? Like he's doing a good job finding what's there. There's not a whole lot available to him at this point, but put a foot in the ground and cuts the outside, right? Cuts the outside here. It just seems like he's lost some of his balance. I don't know, like continue to the left here, right? Continue to the left. And I understand there's a lot of guys in the box here, right? You got essentially 8 here for Purdue that you're blocking against, right? So it's not easy. I'm not trying to say that it is easy because you're fighting through a lot of traffic, but he is not fighting through that first contact in the same way that he was last year. He just isn't as decisive. So maybe that's probably all I wanted to show in that play. So yeah, I feel like I mentioned it last time. He's not a traditional running back. He's not a traditional wide receiver. You have to use him as a weapon, as an Alvin Kamara, right? You got to put him out there. You got to threaten him because of the matchup nightmare he is for defenses. You can take advantage of him in those matchups in creative ways, but he's not that dependable every down running back. He's not a wide receiver. His purpose is to be matched up against a linebacker and send him out on pass games, send him out on the outside with those one-on-one matches, things like that you can creatively use that matchup nightmare against linebackers. John, yep, Edwards seems good on first contact. Marcus says, good way of putting it. I thought he just lost a step versus last year, like he took the offseason too lightly. But he was also just like a little bit more violent last year. Seems like he's a little bit more tentative, just not as confident. I feel like that's a big thing too. And maybe I'm just reading into that and there is no truth to that. That could be the case, right? But that's just what it seems. So we'll see. Again, I'm accepting of that at this point this year. He could still surprise us, right? He very well could. I wouldn't put it past him.
Super high by Michigan standards, but they've got 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 from Corum and 1 from the wide receiver Morgan, who's in motion. McCarthy looks that way, now fires towards the sideline. It's Loveland.
This is not defendable. All right, this is not a defendable play. And why do I say that? You're threatening a little screen here. I like the play design, right? You're sending Samaj Morgan in motion here. You're threatening this little screen. That's where you get the pump fake here. You're hoping, right, that this motion and this pump fake, that you're going to get a commitment on these 2 defenders to go, right? You can send a clear out here for Rebel Wilson. That's fine. And then you fake like a little stalk block here, right? And then you head up the sideline here. Cool play design. Really cool play design. But it's a good job from 21, staying on it, right? 21 is disciplined with his eyes. He stays on it. Good recognition from JJ McCarthy saying, hey, we don't have it over the top, back shoulder time, right? And it's impossible to defend that. If that ball is thrown where it is, right, it's impossible to defend that ball. And that's just NFL level stuff right there, right? That's why you see this in the NFL all the time, because it's damn near impossible as a defensive back or linebacker to be able to defend that. So good job, right? Good recognition, good defense, just better offense, right? And that's sometimes how that works. Keep going here. Render this. Or we all just in denial that our O-line was that much better last year. I hate to say it. It was better last year. I don't think that's unfair to say. You had Olu Watini, who is the best center in college football. You had some exceptional tackles. I just don't think Barnhart or Ladarius Henderson are exceptional. So I think it's hard to eclipse last year's offensive line. I also feel like there's just an adjustment to how defenses are playing Michigan. They're saying, we are not going to let you beat us through the run. They're outnumbering Michigan in the box. They're committing more resources than Michigan is willing to devote to that. And they're not really using J.J. McCarthy in the run game as much as that would be helping them right now. So we'll see, right? We'll see. Got to go bedtime. Safe travels. Mr. Martini, good luck. Got another 10 minutes here, and then I'll be doing the same thing. We might make the end of the game. It'll be close. All right. 2nd and goal here for the Wolverines. Oh, this is Blake Corum time, baby. Just a patented Blake Corum run, right? Threaten the outside here, get the linebacker off balance, make him look silly, right? This angle doesn't really do it justice. This one does it a little bit better justice. It's a good pull here from Zach Zinter. Good decision. Or actually, it's not even. He's just kind of setting that edge a little bit more. So he's doing the right thing, picking up 31. He wasn't accounted for. Good block there from Bredesen. And then the rest is just Corum making a guy miss, right? Corum effectively forces that linebacker to be uncomfortable, right? He bites on the fake to the outside there, and his momentum is just not enough for Blake Corum. So excellent start and stop, right? That's the start and stop ability of Blake Corum here, just to make that linebacker look silly. So missed tackle, really, Barrett makes that tackle. I mean, a missed tackle can also be a forced missed tackle, right? You're not wrong that is a missed tackle by definition, but also you got to give credit to the guy forcing the missed tackle. 47 tough night, touchdown to Edwards too. Yeah, that's a tough 1-2 punch, right? Going up against Corum, going up against Edwards, like just good luck, right? And say what you want about Edwards. He's an athletic nightmare on the outside as well for those linebackers. Okay, had to get the water. Man, just a long week. It's going to be a long drive. 6.5 hours, I think. 7 hours. Maybe more. I don't know. I haven't looked. Okay, here we go. Michigan on defense here.
Ultimately wear people down.
Caught on second down.
I don't know why it went on mute again. Michigan's only sack of the night, I believe, right? And this is terrifying. And what I mean by this is terrifying, I like this angle the most because pretend you're Hudson Card and you're looking out here, you're trying to read the defense, and then you have this staring at your face, right? You shift your eyes over here, and then it's like, boom, there is a 300-pound Chris Jenkins barreling down on you. That's just nightmare fuel. All right, let's do a better look at the defensive line, what they're sending. Creative little stunt here. All right, you're sending Kenneth Grant, who we didn't really mention all that much this game. Colson Loveland here, right? And that is just to occupy you, and you, right? Get you guys engaged. Send Derek Moore to the outside. Get this tackle to create some space here, right? You just want to create this lane because you're sending Chris Jenkins around, and he's your guy through, right? He's your guy through here. It was a good job, right? Well executed stunt. It does what it has to do. And then give a lot of credit for the rest of the guys, right? Not only are they setting up the stunt, they're getting penetration here, right? Kenneth Grant is getting in there, right? You got two guys here and you're still constricting the pocket here. Derek Moore winning here, constricting the pocket. Got your free rush, but there's no escape here. There's no escape anywhere because everyone else is appropriately constricting this and creating no option except chaos for Hudson Card. I mean, he's got 4 Wolverines on him, right? 4 Wolverines. 6 hours, 10 minutes. Gosh, I got to do that tomorrow morning. Woof. So great job, right? And this is one of the instances where, how many plays did I say? It wasn't necessarily a great day in getting the quarterback on the ground, but you're affecting the quarterback, right? Very often. Okay, let me render these last 2 plays. We're going to do 2 more plays, all right? Oh, excuse me. I feel like I'm falling apart here, guys. Glad we got the technical issues figured out. It's weird. Premiere Pro, every time I reset it, I don't know. It didn't have the clips rendered when I had to restart it. So I don't know. I need to update my computer in the off season. I need a better graphics card because the rendering is not great. Mark says Purdue couldn't do anything really on offense. I mean, how many offenses really have, right? And I know everyone can say that, who have they really played, but just there hasn't been a whole lot of offenses that have been able to do much against this defense. What do we got from Brian here? I wish our offensive line created the holes that our D line created on their stunts. That's fair. That's fair. Listen, I'm not like, I think we can all concede that it's not the running game that it was the previous 2 years. This isn't a Joe Moore winning offensive line. I don't think it is. But I think they are also a victim of what Michigan's offensive line has shown to be capable of the past 2 years, and the defenses have been respecting that. Truly think that is the case. I don't think it's going to be as effective, right? Like, I don't think there's going to be a 400+ yard rushing game against Penn State. But I think you're going to have like a game. I don't know when it's going to be, but I feel like that's going to happen, right? They're going to show up. The road tackle situation was in total disarray, though. Yeah, that's true. But also, like, Michigan has still been doing well on getting to the quarterback, right? They still have been. It's creating turnovers, right? It's creating turnovers, and it's creating a lot of pressure. All right, last 2 plays here. 1st and 10 here for Michigan Wolverines.
Well, J.J. McCarthy and the offense stays out there with a 34-6 lead. And
Okay, we got to do one more negative play, apparently. This is the right move, right? 5th, you got number 5 here. He wants to duck inside, right? He wants to fly inside. Carson Barnhart follows him, right? That's going to create some space to the outside here, right? At this point, this play would have been huge if you get a block from your wide receiver, right? And this is why sometimes I just feel bad for Donovan Edwards, because he's probably gone if this block is there, right? You're dusted. You're not going to be able to get out there. This block is there. You're gone. You're gone, right? So it's a good job from Cornelius Johnson. I still think, he probably should have tried to just like get to the sideline here quicker instead of doing a little setup and get out, right? But it's a good play from 19. Give him some credit. You got to block him. You got to block him. You block him and you are gone, right? But I still think push this to the outside, right? Push this to the outside quicker than what he actually did. He allows 19 to get into this play a little bit by not breaking out earlier. But man, if you pick up that block for Cornelius Johnson, right, that's a big play. Big play. But yeah, and I feel like that's good defense, right? That's still good defense from 19, but you got to pick up that block. You got to pick up that block if you're Cornelius Johnson. And I think Donovan Edwards is down the sideline. I really do. All right, last play. All right, last play. It is a good one, I think.
No need to run. Wait for something to open.
here it comes on 2nd and 8. Patient again in the pocket and delivers to Morgan. Morgan gets away.
There we go. We'll end on a Samaj Morgan play. All right. Okay, so this is really what I like to see for the future of Samaj Morgan. And what I mean by that is he is being smart. This is a heady play from a freshman. What I mean by heady is, remember we saw earlier Cornelius Johnson continuing on an in route, right? Continuing on an in route. But this is great recognition here of making eye contact with your quarterback, recognizing that it's a zone, right? It's a zone. Find a path for the quarterback, right? Find a path for your quarterback to deliver the ball. Deliver the ball, right? Look at that path, right? You sit between the linebackers, right? You can conceivably see where this path is, right? You can see that. And that's exactly where Samaj Morgan sits, right? He makes himself available. And that's just a perfect ball. So that's a really heady play for a freshman to recognize that, to know when to sit, right? Know when to, like, there's a difference between like making the right call and making a smart call, right? So really good job. Really good job. And then Samaj Morgan is probably one of the most electric players with the ball in his hand, right? He's able to pick up yards after the catch more than pretty much anyone else on this team, right? I don't think that's necessarily a strength of Roman Wilson. If there's one deficiency with him, I don't think he's just a yards after catch guy. That's just not what he's asked to do. That's not his strength, right? He's great at other things. There's a reason he's, one of the best in college football when it comes to getting touchdowns, right? Samaj Morgan is a guy you want ball in his hands with room to work, right? And that's what he does. Good block here, right? What do I say about blockers? Find work, right? He did a little evaluation here for Barner, and then he goes and finds work against number 10, right? Smart play. right? I guess 21 did eventually make the block, but Barner continuing to work upfield, try to find work, right? That's what you want to see. So yeah, just a good play call, good blitz pickup there from Donovan Edwards there on 14. It's a good job. Good movement here from JJ McCarthy, and good job from your true freshman finding a spot in the zone and delivering a great ball there. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause it there. I know I didn't get through the entire game, but got to pack, got to do some work stuff. Whew. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Marcus says, great stream. Hit that like button. Yeah, hit the like button. Head over to michigan.rivals.com. Josh is putting out a ton of updates every single day on the board, and he has been batting 1,000, I should say, not 100. Been batting 1,000. All right, the guy doesn't miss on reporting, and he's doing an excellent job. Trevor's doing excellent work as well. It's a great spot to be. Let me see. Mark says, without some really questionable plays, another shutout. I just don't think Penn State can get much going. If Penn State plays straight up run, Michigan will get 150 plus rushing. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. John says, travel safe, Toski, go blue, beat Penn State. Hope we are celebrating next week episode of Cut Ups. And that's what I love. On big games like this, right? Games, we haven't really had it, right? A close game. There's always something to learn. Hopefully it is a win, but against good teams, we know Cut Ups next week will mean something, right? It's going to be against a team with a pulse. That's Penn State, right? They have a pulse. How hardy is that pulse? We'll see. Go blue from Brian Block. Thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Makes me really happy to be able to have you guys in the comments to correspond with through this. And I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your evening to enjoy this with me. So we will talk next week. Find me in the stands. I'll be amongst other Michigan fans, and we'll do this again next week. MichiganRivals.com. Head on over, and you'll find me there as well. Okay. Take it easy. Go blue. Beat Penn State. Fast Network. See ya.